done a party princess training video in a while, and I really wanted to touch onto this topic. So today, as you saw in the title, we are going to be talking about inclusive performing. What it is, why you should not listen to just everybody about it, and tips and tricks to better help you in your own performance journey. Before hopscotching into the video, don't forget to follow me on my Instagram at happy.blonde.s. All of my incredible pictures are there. I interact a lot with my followers and there through polls, stories, even my own captions on posts. So if you want to get to know me a lot better or message me directly, definitely do so through there. Don't forget to sign up for the Party Princess Training Academy if you have not. The link is down below. You do have a 2-week free trial, and that is amazing. So yeah, don't forget to sign up for everything. Now, let's hop back to the video. So the purpose of this video is because a couple months back I saw this post circling about the princess industry on Instagram. And don't get me wrong, I'm not throwing shade at anybody. I'm just here to, educate you and inform you and give you my own opinion and perspective. I am not the all-knowing power in the princess performance industry, but I do know a lot. I've been around the industry for a little bit, and I've been a performer for basically all my life. So, this is my job. I saw a post where a girl said that people should start doing inclusive performing, but the post was mentioned in a way that you need to have inclusive performance as its own category. Now, if you're new to the industry or you don't know exactly what it is because you're not part of this industry, or you're kind of iffy on what I'm talking about and you really want to pinpoint exactly what it is, basically the term inclusive performing in that post was used to tell performers to shift their entire performance style every single time they were having interactions with a child with a medical condition or disability. No! Before starting off and explaining and, giving you all my tips and tricks and little, oh my gosh, droplets of knowledge. That's this phrase that we use in Puerto Rico, but obviously it's in Spanish. Gotitas del saber. Anywho, while I was researching for this video, like I do for all of my videos, I do research for most of my videos. I'm not just sitting here and telling you things that I think makes sense. I actually do the research and the work. I was researching for this video and I came across this wonderful ad campaign from UNICEF Philippines. And the campaign basically focused on 3 children, each of them with a disability, and it showcased how a child with, for example, severe hearing loss and is an incredible basketball player, and how a child with ADHD is an incredible artist and draws beautifully. Meaning, a child is not, I repeat, a child is not defined by their disabilities. We need to stop for a moment and look at these children and see so much more than just a disability. They don't want your pity. They want to be somebody in this world, and they have talents and many abilities, and they have values and a wonderful and rich personality. And sometimes, most of the times actually, that is overlooked because of that disability. And that is why I do not believe that inclusive performing should be its own category. It should be something that you do all the time. Let's think about, all of this and how it affects our industry. I have worked at the Disney parks and resorts before as a character performer, and one of the beautiful things that you get to do is get to meet Make-A-Wish kids. As most of you know, Make-A-Wish kids are kids that get granted wishes, and some of these kids actually do want to go to Disney World. So when they go to the parks, they don't have to stay in line. They hopscotch first. They have tons of perks and benefits. And one of the perks and benefits is skipping the line whenever they want to see characters. And even though they do tell characters, hey, you are about to see a Make-A-Wish kid, or you have a child with a disability coming up on your right, they do not expect you to change their performance, because their belief is that every child is special. And that is 100% true. Like I mentioned, a child should not be categorized by their disability. So every single time us as character entertainers are at an event and you see a child with a disability, don't treat that child like they're stuck in a crystal bubble. Absolutely not. That's not what they need. Every single child is special. At the end of the day, let's be honest, you really don't know if a child has a certain medical condition or psychological condition as well, because there are a lot of mental conditions nowadays, and children are also part of that spectrum. You know, a lot of people think like, oh my gosh, you have to be old and like schizophrenic to have a mental condition. And at the end of the day, a 5-year-old can be depressed, and you don't know that. And it's honestly not your job to do so. Your job is to make that child feel as special as possible, because you don't know if a child has a mental condition, a physical disability. You don't even know if that child is just simply having a bad day. At the end of the day, once more, it's your job to make that child feel special. And this tends to happen a lot whenever princesses partner with hospitals. Last month, I did go to a hospital that we, Pixie Dusted, partner with. My company, we partner with that hospital a lot, and we have a promise to go every single month starting this year. We used to go once every like 2-3 months, but I really want to work with them a lot. They have provided us with so many opportunities and wonderful memories, so that's kind of like our little gift to them, to just be able to be with the kids 2 hours, for 1 day a month, and obviously special events that they open their doors to for us. But sometimes a child, sometimes a kid can be in a hospital and it's because they probably fell off a slide and they broke their leg and they need a cast because they were being kids. But sometimes a child is there because they were born with cancer. Sometimes children have terminal diseases, and you know what? They don't need your pity. They don't need you going up to them, magical Cinderella, going up to them and be like, oh my goodness, like, this is so terrible, what has happened to you? I pray that you will get better. Absolutely not. First of all, you're not there to preach, and second of all, you're not there to make them feel worse about themselves. Because think back, like when you were a child, every single time you got hurt or injured or sick, the least thing that you wanted to do was think about that injury or about that sickness. You didn't want that sickness to just kind of be your defining factor for that X amount of days. You didn't want to be like, oh, the sick kid in like in room 102. Like you don't want to be that child. If you didn't want to be that child for X amount of days, do you think that a child wants to be that, defined as that all the time? They don't need that. What they need is, even for just a moment, for everything to be magical and beautiful and to feel special and loved and respected and equal. That is the magic word in all of this. Equal. They want to feel like they're just an ordinary child that likes to run and likes to draw or have adventures and watch Disney movies. They're not defined by their sickness, their injury, their disability, their condition. They are absolutely not. So let's stop the habit of, interacting with kids one way, and then we see a child with disability and you instantly click on a mental button and you, like, first of all, you dumb down words for these kids as if they didn't understand you. And you're kind of like nodding your head like this because you feel pity on them. Absolutely not! Like, let's stop doing that. Why are we doing that? No. You need to learn how to perform around them, not for them. For example, what I mean around them is, if you get a child, let's say that you are at a dining experience. You're working a dining experience, you're moving across the room, and you get a child in a wheelchair. Obviously, you're not gonna trip over the child because no, that is just not done, and you shouldn't even trip on a child that doesn't have a wheelchair. If you do, let's reassess the walking. But, it is normal for you to help the parents, for example, accommodate the wheelchair or get down to their level, even though we do get down to kids' levels when they're 4 or 5, You see what I mean? Like, we do these things. We just think about them in a different category and we shouldn't. It is normal for you to maybe take pictures one way, but because of where the chair is placed, you maybe want to like shift the portrait angle so that it's easier on the parents. That means that you are performing around them basically in a way that, you're not letting that wheelchair get in your way, but at the same time you are acknowledging that it is there. You're just not making it fully present. You know, I acknowledge you, you're there, I'm gonna like work with you, but I'm not gonna make you the center of attention of this conversation. There are, for example, princesses who learn sign language. I want to learn sign language myself in the future. But what you're doing is that you are finding ways to equally communicate with that child the same way that you would with another child. We just, again, have different methods to do so. My purpose with this video is for you to understand that, you know, we need to stop looking at kids with disabilities or with these conditions or injuries or sicknesses, and, you know, we need to stop placing like that name tag on their forehead, like, oh, it's a child with disability, let me just like dumb everything down, let me, you know, take pity on them, try to make the moment even more magical than what it is. Because if there's one thing that I learned while visiting hospitals and working with these kids, is that a moment is magical because it's genuine, not because it's forced. If you force a moment to be magical because you want that moment to be magical, because that child has a disability, because that child needs it, guess what? It's not going to be magical. A child would rather have the smallest conversation with you and having it be everything that they wanted than having this long conversation and lecture about the importance of life. Get what I mean? The last example that I researched, because, you know, I researched mostly about hospitals because this is the places where we see them the most, but it doesn't mean that we don't see them. For example, I did work at an event with the hospital, but it was at at the biggest mall in the island, so everybody is in there, and we had a lot of kids with disability like come up to characters, and, you know, they were treated just like every other kid, and the smile on their faces right after the interactions was absolutely everything, because they know that they got the interaction that they wanted and that they needed at that moment. But I researched about, you know, performers going to hospitals and stuff like that, and I learned that just the presence of you being there is sometimes even enough. I am obsessed, probably like all the internet, you know, with the Johnny Depp case, and obviously Johnny Depp just being Jack Sparrow. Even before this trial, Johnny Depp has been and will always be my favorite actor. I feel like he is an amazing you know, actor, and the way he transforms into these characters. But one thing that he used to do with Captain Jack Sparrow was visit hospitals, and he has the cutest interactions with these kids of all ages and with different types of, you know, sicknesses or conditions or disabilities or injuries, and he was just Captain Jack, you know, this drunk person who knows right from wrong but still makes the wrong decisions. You know, he didn't adapt his character or his performance at all for this location, and the kids absolutely loved it, and they believed every second of it, and the smile on their faces was just incredible. So that is example enough. You shouldn't shift your character and your performance style like depending on, you know, on the type of child that you are seeing. At the end of the day, children are gifts, and they are absolutely beautiful, and I think that they are the beacons of pure happiness of this world, and we need to give them happiness as well. So remember, genuine interactions, not forced interactions, and I promise you they will go a really, really long way. I hope this video has been very educational for you. I'm looking at the monitor and I'm like, why is this looking so odd? I forget that I have rose gold tips now on my hair. So yeah, hi, I'm a strawberry blonde. Probably that's new, I should have addressed that at the beginning of the video. But anywho, yeah, I hope that this video was very, very educational and informative, and, you know, if you have any doubts or concerns about performing in front of these kids, or maybe you're going to a hospital for the very first time and you don't know really what to expect, I did make a video about, you know, magic making with a local hospital. Definitely check that one out, and if you still have doubts or questions, again, message me on my Instagram. I always say my Instagram because that's where I am at most. That's easily that's where you can easily reach me, so definitely go ahead and do that, and I will see you all for the next one for a very pirates inspired choreography. Bye.